brought to you by the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, the first Chromebook made for Google Play.
What's up? Hi, Screen Junkies.
We're at Comic-Con.
We're at Comic-Con. This is DJ.
That's me.
I'm Joe Starr.
That's him.
We're here at an undisclosed location, Comic-Con. DJ and I just got out of the Hall H Netflix
So
Bright
exciting.
panel. And they just released a lot of the footage and trailer stuff that we just got to see. So we wanted to sort of break some of it down with you guys, and then also get into details on some footage that they didn't release that was just exclusive to Hall H. So let's talk Bright, man. Let's get into this. We're gonna throw up just stills of the trailer and kind of talk through them. So you guys just start throwing them up as we sort of talk. So this was described to us. David Ayer was there. Joel Edgerton, Will Smith. They basically sold it as Training Day meets Lord of the Rings.
Which you're like, hey, those movies don't go together, but it looks like they might. It looks like it might fit well.
They surprisingly do. There's also a weird taste of Zootopia in this movie. So
that's a good point.
So that image that we just brought up, Joel Edgerton plays this orc, and basically there's a hierarchy in the world. Elves they're the 1%. They run the world. Humans are sort of in the middle, and orcs are sort of the lower class. They described it as they're the guys that build your houses and mow your lawns.
Which, if you've watched Lord of the Rings, seems about right. If you were able to extrapolate that to the present day, you'd be like, yeah, that's probably how that would break down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the end of the War for Middle Earth ends with with orcs and Uruk-hai working at a Hardee's, just trying to make their way. So Joel Edgerton plays that orc. He's sort of they called in the trailer. He's a diversity hire. Yeah. He is the first orc member of the LAPD.
Yeah, and he seems very. And Joel Edgerton brought up he just really wants to be liked. Yeah. He just really wants to be liked.
And just looks like a total monster.
He does. And he also brought up. He told a fun story about how rolling around in LA in a car without controlled streets, and it being Will Smith, so nobody cared. Nobody cared that he looked like a monster.
Yeah, he's
like,
in costume. Yeah, there's an orc walking next to Will Smith, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's the Fresh Prince." So let's just keep rolling through images, guys, and we can sort of talk through them. This character is actually, she's a Bright. That's what the title of the movie is referring to. Brights are magic users. They're very rare. Yeah. And basically the premise of this movie is they uncover a magic wand, a magical artifact. Yeah. And it seems like this is a very tense Los Angeles, like any David Ayer Los Angeles movie. This is an LA that's about to explode. And them finding this magical artifact is kind of what does it.
Exactly, and it was explained that it seemed Numi Rapace seems to play the big bad of the movie, and it was explained that actually she was growing the wand. It's supposed to be her wand. It's not like she was growing it in her body. Yeah, and it's supposed to be hers, and she loses track of it, like you do. Yeah, and it was found by this young girl who now Will Smith and Joel Edgerton are trying to protect and keep out of harm's way, and shenanigans ensue.
So you have all of these really fun fantasy tropes being filtered through a really just dirty, angry, grimy present-day Los Angeles, which seems just super fun. The panel was really cool, of course. I mean, Will Smith knows how to sell a movie. He knows how to work a crowd, and so does David Ayer. You know, this is the guy that stood on stage and said F Marvel, and everybody lost their minds. The guy knows how to get a crowd worked up, and not to be outdone by his F Marvel statements, there was some shade thrown.
just a pinch. Just a pinch.
They were asked about what it's like working for Netflix. Yeah. And David Ayer said, Netflix gives you the resources to make the movie that you want to make. Yeah. Unlike.
He's like they don't get in the way. They don't get in the way of your vision for the movie.
Yeah. So he said, this is my best attempt at a direct quote. This isn't one of those studio PG-13 factory assembly line blockbusters.
What do you, John?
And Will Smith just laughing his butt off.
Yeah. What do you think he was referring to? If you had to guess,
probably something with a guy that can climb anything in it.
Listen, that's the greatest character ever committed to celluloid.
Ever in film.
Don't knock it.
But it was a great panel. Will Smith said something that really actually stuck with me. He said the first big moment he had with movies was when he was 10. He saw Star Wars,
Yeah.
and he described his career. Someone asked why he keeps going back to genre movies,
Yeah.
sci-fi and
Independence Day, Men in Black, all that.
And he said, it's been my goal to give an audience the same experience that I got when I was 10 and I saw Star Wars, which was such a cool pull quote.
It's just, again, like
quote.
everybody, they all seem to really like each other. There was a great energy on stage. Terry Crews was the moderator, and he had a lot of love
Which,
for
if you ever need an event moderated, hire Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews.
He was great.
Did a great job. But we also got to see, and there's a little bit of in that trailer, a clip, an exclusive clip of the movie that got us a kind of a better taste for it, that involved the mass destruction of a gas station.
Yeah, so I'm already sold on the I was already sold on the premise. It's just very interesting to me. But then they showed this clip of Will Smith and Edgerton being attacked by these elves in basically a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And it was full on air. It was such a great clip. This is what really kind of sold me on the movie. It's basically they crash a car into the 7-Eleven where our heroes are, and I feel like they made a giant list of what sequences could possibly happen with a car in the middle of a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and they did all of them.
And they did all of them.
Yeah, they did all of them.
It was such a cool sequence. Like, you know, someone was like, well, how would the icy machine incorporate into this weird fight inside the 7-Eleven that also has a car in it?
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
It's one of those sequences you watch where you're like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like,
really, really, really fun.
Yeah, and we also got a sense of how strong Joel Edgerton's orc is, because he gets run over by that car repeatedly.
Yes.
And seems to be mostly okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So orcs are powerhouses, is what we're learning, and then elves are very talented acrobatic fighters, and Will Smith is just doing his best to survive.
Yeah. So yeah, a good, strong, weird present day fantasy movie.
Yeah.
We also got to see Netflix. Netflix's Death Note shared the stage with this. They went on before Bright. We met the cast.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe did a fun call-in as Ryuk, his character from Death Note.
You can't beat that voice, man. Like, that voice comes on. And of course, I immediately go to like Green Goblin. Oh man. And it just gives you chills.
So we got to see a clip from Death Note.
Yeah.
Let's talk through that a little bit.
So it's the first time that the main character, Light, meets Willem Dafoe's Death God, and what surprised me the most out of it was how funny it was. Like, legitimate laughs of this guy freaking out, which you would like. It's a very Evil Dead scenario where things start flying off of walls. Smash cuts. He tries to escape the room and he can't, and all of his reactions were really funny.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the Gas Journey of Wingard's other movies, he does a lot of sort of genre bending, and so it looks fun. The panel was a little weird.
Yeah,
and I'm not super.
A lot of different personalities that didn't necessarily gel well on stage.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It was jarring to have Will Smith follow that and be like, "This is how it's done."
Yeah.
I'm not completely sold on Death Note yet. What'd you feel based on the trailer and the footage?
Big fan of Adam Wingard, and so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he seemed very excited about the source material, very into it. He rattled off a few other anime and mangas that he'd like to see adapted, and so he seems very, very into it and really trying to make the best movie he can. So, and I like the clip. So I'm a little on the fence, but I'm leaning towards thinking it's going to turn out all right.
Guys, keep your lives a little happier, more positive. Go with this guy. Go Team DJ. Don't be a cynical old son of a gun like old Joe Star here.
No, be Joe.
Dude, this is
Hashtag
your first,
be Joe.
This is your first Hall H.
This
I'm so
was
glad you
my
did.
first Hall H.
Yeah, this is DJ's first Hall H. I was so glad to be able to hang out with him. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep with us all week. We're here. We're locked in this room. They're not feeding us until we have pumped out every amazing video and covered every bit of this convention.
We're getting it done.
If you're here, see our panel on Friday, and hopefully we'll see you at Screen Junkies Central, guys. I'm Joe Star. This is Screen Junkies News. Thanks, DJ.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, for sponsoring today's episode.